स्टार्ट स्ट्रीमिंग हो गया है। Hello students, welcome to Unacademy platform. Okay, this platform provides daily live classes, structured courses are there. You also have live tests and quizzes and unlimited access on. Hello students, welcome to Unacademy platform. Okay, on subscription. Now you can also download Unacademy learning app and all those things that I just told you about. That is structured courses, live classes, and all. These are available on Unacademy learning app also. This can be downloaded on both Google Play as well as Apple Play Store, Apple App Store. This is about me. My name is Amit Pratap Singh, and I have been training candidates for more than 5 years for civil services examination. And this is my Telegram link. So if you have any doubt in any question in my lectures, you can just ping me here. All your doubts, your questions will be answered. Okay, and this is my Unacademy profile link. So getting it, this is my Unacademy profile link. You can visit it. Along with me, these are the top educators on Unacademy, and they offer courses on various competitive examinations. So you can just have a look. You will find it useful. These are different plans for subscription. So if you go with Plus, you get live classes there, and then test series, then unlimited practice, and structured schedule. If you go with Iconic, okay, you get this personal coach, daily mains, question answer practice, study planner, and personalized feedback. Now these are different plans to subscribe, and they are for different durations. Okay, the different duration of time. So you can choose according to your requirement. And all these programs, all these subscriptions are available at 10% discount if you apply this very code Amit PS. Apply this very code and you will get 10% discount. Again, these are different plans to subscribe. You can choose according to your requirement, and all these are available again at 10% discount if you apply this very code, that is Amit PS. And these are again the different plans to subscribe which are available on offer before 31st of October. And these are the different optional papers which are available on the platform. And here I am going to take political science and international relations. Okay, again these are different plans to subscribe, and again these are available at 10% discount. Okay, 10% discount if you apply this very code, that is Amit PS. Okay, so now here today we are going to have a discussion on Machiavelli. Okay, so Machiavelli is an important thinker, and he's third in line with the series that we are covering, and that is the first is Plato, the second is Aristotle, and third is Machiavelli. Okay, so by this time if you have watched my previous videos on Western political thought, you know that first thing that we need to cover in political thought about any thinker is his space and time. Okay, so we are going to talk about his space and time. So far as the time period is concerned, this is the time period. Okay, 1469 to 1527. Okay, so this is 15th, 16th century we are talking about. Now, next we are going to talk about the space. Okay, so Machiavelli is actually a thinker of a transition era. Now, what is the meaning of this transition era? We are going to cover that. Okay, so it is a transition era because it is an era of Renaissance. So various things are happening here, and if you are going to consider the time period, then we will be also be considering the Italy of that time. Okay, so what was the condition, the political condition of Italy of that very time? We are going to see that also. Okay, because that will be required to fully understand and appreciate Machiavelli's thought. Then then we cover the methodologies by the thinker. So these are the main methodologies adopted by Machiavelli. So he adopts historical methodology. Okay, he is going to use this very methodology. Okay, so very often. Then he's also an empiricist. I told you that historical approach was there in Aristotle, and both historical as well as empirical approach was there in Aristotle. And you also know that Aristotle is one who is called the father of political realism. So Aristotle was also political realist, and all these three methodologies are also going to be adopted by Machiavelli. Okay, we will see in our lecture that how these methodologies are being adopted. Now, these are the fundamental premises of Machiavelli's thought. So he is going to be morally indifferent. So moral indifference will be there. This will be very clear when I will teach you about the thoughts of Machiavelli. And then there is principle of universal egoism. Okay, then we are going to understand what is universal egoism, what is egoism in philosophy and political philosophy. Then he will be talking on the lines of autonomy of politics. Okay, so he's actually the thinker who is given this very credit of giving or coming out with the autonomy of the politics. So we are going to see that also. Then he's also the thinker who will talk about or actually proposes a theory and thoughts, and those thoughts favor secularism. So how he does that, we are going to see in our lecture. And so far as the important works of Machiavelli are concerned, we have two important works. First and the foremost of importance here is the Prince. Okay, so Prince is the most important work of Machiavelli. So Machiavellianism, or the most important thoughts of Machiavelli, are covered in this very book. That is Prince. Okay. Now the second important work is Discourses. Okay. So in Prince, you are going to see that Machiavelli is going to give you various advices to the Prince. Okay. And who is the Prince here? Is actually the king. Okay, monarch or the ruler, you can say. Simply the ruler. Okay. Here also you will get the idea. His ideas on religion and various other things we are going to talk about. Then the second important work is Discourses. There he comes out with the classification of the government, and here you will see Machiavelli supporting the republican type of government. So in the Prince, he is going to advise the prince. Okay, he is going to advise the ruler. So in this very book, he is actually indirectly favoring what? He is favoring monarchy. How? Because his advices are for the monarch here. Okay, and second book, that is the Discourses, is showing his support for republican form of government. So how he makes that transition of being a supporter of monarchy and then republican form of government, that is something that we are going to see. Okay, then we will finally conclude this very thinker with his with the evaluation and criticism. Okay, so now starting with our lecture. So, space and time of the thinker. Space and time of Machiavelli is going to be even more important than you saw in case of, say, for example, Plato and Aristotle. Okay, because the effect of the atmosphere, effect of the problems of his era is actually going to influence him a lot. So he, he's also called the product of his own times. Okay, although every political thinker is the product of his own time, but this is more true in case of Machiavelli. And that is why there has been a scholar by this very name Dunning who says that the brilliant Florentine in his fullest essence was a child of his own times. Okay, so this is the opinion of Dunning for Machiavelli. He's saying that Florentine means the one who was born in Florence. So Machiavelli was born in Florence, Italy. And Dunning is saying that he was a child of his own time. And child of his own time means he was a product of his own time or the circumstances that prevailed in Italy, in Florence and Italy of that very time. Okay, so this is going to be very evident, very clearly visible in his thoughts. Okay, so he was born in 1469 in Florence, Italy. Okay, and he belonged to a very prosperous family actually. So he came from a prosperous family, and because of this very background, he received very good education, and that education was formal and humanist. So what is humanist education? Which inculcates human values. Okay, so it is not going to be. It was mainly formal and not religious. Okay, although he has conducted or he has undergone religious studies also. So he has done his own studies on religion, especially Christianity, and that is why we are going to see his views on Christianity also. Then, in a very young age, he started his career in government of Florence, and there he was engaged in various diplomatic missions. Okay, so he conducted various diplomatic missions on the behalf of Florence. So he was in a sense a career diplomat for a long period of time. Okay, so this very this very this very profession is going to give him the first hand experience of diplomacy. Okay, first hand experience of statecraft and all that. Now, this very time was such that it was full of uh, various complex situations that Italy was facing, or the Florence and other provinces, other states of Italy were facing. And that is why it is being said that the rough and tumble of politics, okay, because it was a tough time period, that is why it is being said that the rough and tumble of politics which resulted due to political turbulence. So it was a time of political turbulence in Italy. That is what I am saying. An explosion in Italy presented before him various changes in his career. Okay, so as I told you that the time period that he is actually born in, okay, in Italy, this is a time period when Italy is not a very strong state. It is divided into various sub subnational units. It is not a state in any sense. If you compare the glory of Roman Empire, okay, so that is why these states in Italy are divided. So they are fighting with each other, and that is why others, means outsiders, those who do not belong to Italy, are taking the benefit of this very situation. Okay, see the political explosion that was there in Italy, and in that very era, okay, during those very years, he was working as a diplomat, as a career diplomat on the behalf of Florence state. So this is going to give him a lot of exposure, a very practical and real exposure to the turbulence in the politics. And that is why his insights, okay, in politics are going to be very useful and very relevant when you study them. And that is what we are going to do here. So because of this turbulence in the politics that was happening during that time, that very thing actually helped him to develop deep insights in politics and government. Okay, now we also need to cover the influences. I told you earlier that we also need to see the influences on thinker, and two very important factors played a role in his shaping his thoughts and his theories, and those are, first is Renaissance and second is the Italy of his times. So first we are going to see Renaissance. So you already might be knowing about the meaning of Renaissance. It is also called New Age. Okay, so it actually embarked on the ending of Dark Age in Europe. Okay, so Renaissance meant various things. Okay, and that is something which is going to have a lasting impact on Machiavellian thoughts. Okay, so the core of Renaissance was new man. Getting it? What is the meaning of this new man here? New man's mean a man who was ambitious and his prime concern was glory and fame. Okay, so under the influence of Renaissance, you see the emergence of a new thinking, a new kind of thinking, where people are going to be concerned about their glory and fame. Now they are going to seek glory and fame. So this is the time period in Europe where a society is emerging out of the clutches and the bonds of religion. Okay, so in Renaissance, it is going to be seen that people will realize that life is not the vale of tears. Okay, religion is not something which is going to guide the every sphere of their way life. This is something that this Renaissance will bring about the change in the mentality, the very thinking of people. Okay, so religious faith and asceticism was being replaced by self-realization and joy of living. So before Renaissance, you see that religious faith and being ascetic, that was actually the norm of the day. Okay, in Europe. But Renaissance brought about a change in that very perception, in that very thought. Okay, and this very really thought, or this very proposition was replaced by what? This very attempt for self-realization. And now people started focusing on the joy of living. Okay, so that was the attempt here, joy of living. Now for the joy of living, or for ensuring this very joy of living, they are going to seek what? Glory, fame, etc. So that was something which was not present when यूरोप वॉज अंडर द क्लचेस ऑफ रिलीजन. ओके, इसका मतलब ये है कि रिनेशन एक नई सोच को जन्म दिया. ओके okay? एक नई सोच, वो नई सोच किसके ऊपर फोकस कर रही थी? वो नई सोच लोगों की नई थिंकिंग को जन्म दे रही थी. इस एक ऐसी तरह की नई थिंकिंग जहां पास लोग रिलीजन के क्लचेस से अपने आप को बाहर लाके अपनी लाइफ को इंप्रूव कर सकें, ग्लोरी, फेम, इसको सीख करें, इसको अपना पर्पस बनाए लाइफ का. Okay, so this was actually the effect of Renaissance. Now, Renaissance also shattered various things, very structured. Okay, very structured, and foremost among them was the religious structure. So here it is being said that Renaissance shattered the idea of Christian monolithic order. So the idea of Christian monolithic order was what? All the polities, or actually politics, was the vassalage of religion. Okay, before Renaissance, politics was the vassalage of religion, means politics was dominated by religion. Okay, politics was dominated by religion. Now, growth of commerce, economic development, printing press, transition from barter economy to money and banking, new geographical discoveries, all these things, and the emergence of centralized state also, that is also happening just after or during Renaissance. Emergence of universities, leading to the end of monopoly of church over education, individualism, and humanism come to the forefront. So this is actually, these are the things which are happening during the time of Renaissance. Okay, so there is a lot of growth taking place in commerce or economic activities. Okay, economic activities are flourishing. So people are going to earn more and more. So they are going to appropriate more and more profits in their favor. That is going to improve their standard of living. Okay, now printing press is going to come. Now, what is the relevance of printing press in Renaissance? प्रिंटिंग प्रेस रेनेसा में क्या रोल प्ले करेगा? प्रिंटिंग प्रेस से होगा क्या कि प्रिंटिंग प्रेस लोगों के थॉट्स को बहुत ज्यादा कन्वे कराने में हेल्प करेगा। प्रिंटिंग प्रेस से पॉसिबल हो गया कि किसी को कोई चीज कहनी है, कोई थॉट है, तो वो प्रिंटिंग प्रेस से मदद मिली कि उसने उस थॉट्स को फैलाया, और उस थॉट के फैलने से क्या हुआ, उस रेनेसा के इफेक्ट में और बढ़त मिली। Getting it? So, for example, earlier also, before the period of Renaissance, there were people who did not accept the thoughts or that was being imposed by Christian monolithic order. Okay, they did not respect those very thoughts. They did not concur to these very thoughts, but they did not have the media to convey their opposition. Okay, their discontentment. तो प्रिंटिंग प्रेस इस चीज में मदद करेगा कि इस डिसकंटेंटमेंट लोगों के बीच में जो है, ओके, जो उनके डिफरेंट इनोवेटिव थॉट्स हैं चीजों को लेके, उसको फैलाने में मदद करेगा। ओके, नाउ दिस इज आल्सो द टाइम व्हेन another very important transition is taking place, that is transition from barter economy to money and banking. तो जब money and banking emerge होगी, when this particular economic system will emerge, then it is going to make the economic system more complex. Okay, now various complex economic systems are going to emerge because of the emergence of money and banking. So again, people are going to be indulged, or they are going to be busy in their economic spheres. That again is going to help them to come out of the clutches of church, that is religion. Okay, church and religion. Then new geographical discoveries. Now in this very period, new geographical discoveries are being made. Okay, so you must be knowing about the various expeditions that were taking place. So for example, बहुत सारे एक्सपेडिशंस के द्वारा हमको उस टाइम में ये पता चलता है कि अमेरिकन लैंड वाज डिस्कवर्ड, देन द रूट्स टू नॉर्थ अमेरिका, साउथ अमेरिका, ऑल दैट वाज डिस्कवर्ड this during this very time. But in the biblical text, it was mentioned that this is the only land. So, for example, in Bible and in other biblical texts, it was mentioned that the Western Europe land is the only land. So, the land which was present there in and around Italy, that was the only land in Earth. Okay, that was the opinion. But the geographical expeditions or discoveries made it possible to refute this very idea. Okay, now this was also the time period which led to the emergence of centralized state. Okay, so before the era of centralized state के पहले क्या था? Centralized state के पहले था कि जो states होते थे, they were actually governed by religion. Okay, तो religion का domination था उनके ऊपर, और centralized states का emergence इस चीज को शो कर रहा है कि अभी polity या autonomous nature of polity emerge हो रही है, और मैकियावेली इसमें बहुत ज्यादा मदद करने वाला है. Autonomous nature of polity. Okay, so the autonomous nature of politics is emerging with the emergence of centralized state. ये centralized authority पहले नहीं होती थी. पहले चर्च ही अलग अलग स्टेट्स को अलग अलग तरीके से गवर्न करता था. Okay, now emergence of universities. अब यहाँ पास this was also the time period when universities were emerging, and that again is going to lead to what? It is going to motivate people to do research. Okay, and that again is going to end the monopoly of church over education. तो अभी यूनिवर्सिटीज वगैरह इमर्ज हो रही हैं, तो वहां पास नॉलेज सिस्टम डेवलप होगा. नॉलेज सिस्टम जो डेवलप होगा वो मदद करेगा कि जो चर्च का मोनोपोली एजुकेशन में वो खत्म है. ओके, एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली दिस इज ऑल्सो द टाइम पीरियड व्हेन इंडिविजुअलिज्म इज इमर्जिंग. तो इंडिविजुअलिज्म इमर्ज करेगा तो उसका क्या फायदा होगा? What is the benefit of the emergence of individualism here? The benefit here is this, that with the emergence of individualism, you will see values, emergence of values which are going to favor the interest of individual. Okay, interest of individual. How? Because now individual will become the center of theorization, center of interest, center of policy making, center of thinking. So it is for the individual things are going to be done. Okay, it is for individual that attempts are going to be made to improve their life. So although we are going to see the meaning of individualism in good detail in the very next lecture, that is on Hobbes, but the essence of individualism is this, that it is the individual who is going to be the center of debate, center of discussion, center of discourse now. And what is the meaning of becoming the center of debate, discussion, discourse? That is, individual's interest is going to be primary. Individual's interest is going to dominate everything. That is what we mean by individualism. Now, it also has various other meanings. We are going to see that in the very next thinker, that is Hobbes. Okay, and humanism is also going to emerge, or it is going to be in the forefront. And what is the significance of humanism coming to the forefront? Now, human values, okay, human values or the interest of humanity as large, that is going to be the prime concern. Okay, the meaning here is this, that religion or religious faith, all that is going to be replaced, or their importance is going to be replaced by the importance of individuals, or importance of human values. Okay, so this is what we mean by Renaissance. So this is actually going to have an effect, a lasting effect or impact over the mind of Machiavelli. Okay, so his thoughts actually should be seen with this very lens of Renaissance. Okay, actually, scholars have said that the whole Renaissance is in the writings of Machiavelli. Getting it? So all those kind of statements have been made by scholars. We are going to analyze them also. Okay, next. See, this is actually the statement of Lasky. I just uttered it. That commenting on the extraordinary change brought by Renaissance, Lasky said that the whole Renaissance is in Machiavelli. So Machiavellian thoughts are so modern if you compare the time period there, and such they are so new and fresh that it led uh, Lasky to say that whole Renaissance is to be found in Machiavelli. So everything that Renaissance stood for, all those things are present in the writings, in the thinking, in the thought of Machiavelli. Okay, and Dunning, another important uh, thinker, an important scholar who has studied Machiavelli deeply, he says that Machiavelli stood on the borderline between Middle Ages, there is a typo here, Middle Ages and modern ages. Okay, he ushered in the modern age by writing the politics of the domination. Okay, uh, politics of the vassalage of religion. This means what? That if you understand the Lasky's statement completely, he's saying that the whole idea of Renaissance is to be found in Machiavelli. That means whatever Renaissance stood for, that is present in Machiavellian thought. And what Dunning is trying to say, that Machiavelli is actually standing on the borderline between Middle Ages and the modern ages. So just we are going to have a view of Middle Age and modern age. Okay. So Middle Age is characterized by what? The domination of religion. Middle Age is characterized by the domination of religion. Okay. And it is dominated by church. Okay. Let us see it systematically so that you understand it fully. So this is the Middle Age and this is the modern age. Okay, in Middle Age we see the domination of religion, church. Okay, here we see emergence of new system of centralized states, and here secularism is going to be dominant. Okay, here politics is dominated by religion. So politics does not have autonomy. Okay, politics is dominated by religion. That is what we mean by this very word, that it is the politics is the vassalage of religion. It is being dominated by religion. So vassalage of religion means dominated by religion. Okay. Now here in modern days, politics is what? Here we find the autonomous nature of politics. Autonomous nature of politics. Getting it? Now why it is being said by Dunning that Machiavelli is standing in the border, okay, at the border of middle and modern age. So middle age, why it is being said that in middle age you find that religion is actually the dominant factor. Everything is being controlled by church. And in modern age you find that everything is not controlled by church. Okay, you saw the emergence of secular state or centralized states, and now politics is going to regulate religion also, or at least politics is independent of religion. But that is something which is going to happen in modern age. In Middle Ages, you find kings and monarchies. In modern age, you find republicanism and democracy. So, why it is being said that Machiavelli is standing in the border of these very two ages is because he is going to make a transition, okay, from the Middle Age. So, he start moving or making a transition from Middle Age, okay, by adopting a system of thought which is going to conquer or pave the way for the emergence of this very thought system which is to be found in modern age. So for example, he comes out with his thoughts on secularism. Okay, his thoughts on politics being independent of religion. Okay, all that is going to pave the way ultimately for the emergence of modern age. But he is not in the modern age, or he is not called the modern, the philosopher of modern era or modern thinker. He is not called the philosopher of modern thinker or modern philosopher or modern thinker because he is still not supporting secularism or the autonomous nature of politics or democracy in an all-out manner or unquestionable manner. So what he is doing here is he has started making a transition from Middle Age but has not still reached the modern age. Okay, that again is evident when he supports the institutions like monarchy. Okay, although in his latter works he has supported republicanism also. But the prince, the most important work of Machiavelli is actually about monarchy. So there he seems to be supporting the system of monarchy. Getting it? That is why it is being said that he is not a modern thinker. And the term which is used for Machiavelli is that he is non-medieval. Okay, non-medieval. What is the meaning of non-medieval? Means he is not modern, but he is not medieval also. So that is why he stands in the very border of medieval and modern age. Okay, because the thoughts he is coming out with are going to be in opposition, in contravention with the thoughts which are prevailing in Middle Ages. Okay, but they are not completely the thoughts of the modern ages. So in that sense, he is in the border of Middle Age and the modern age. But Dunning says that he actually has succeeded in bringing the politics, okay, out of the clutches of religion. So politics in Middle Age was under the domination of religion. What is the meaning of this? That the politics was actually controlled by religion. Getting it? So every ruler, every monarch in that very age was actually guided or controlled by the institution of church. Getting it? Now understand next thing. This is the second important factor which is going to cast a very permanent influence in his thinking. That is the Italy of his times. Okay. So what do we mean by this very Italy of his times? That what is the political condition of Italy of his times. Okay, that is going to affect his thinking process, his thoughts, okay, his views on politics. And on the basis of that very learning, he is going to come out with his theory, okay, his advices that he provides in the book Prince, which is his most important work. Okay, now see here that what is the Italy of his time. I already told you that this is a turbulent period when it comes to the politics of that very era. Okay, so there is an intense political conflict going on in Italy of that time. The city states of Florence, Milan, Venice, Naples. So these are different city states of Italy, and Florence is his birth, his actually hometown. He was born in Florence. So these different city states, that is Florence, Milan, Venice, and Naples, they were fighting with each other, and fighting for what? For the control, okay, or for controlling the whole Italy. Okay, so these city states, which were Italian city states, who were fighting among each other for control on Italy. Okay, and it is not only about the city states of Italy which were fighting among each other. Even countries like France, Spain, and even Roman Church, they were also fighting for, or they were also making an attempt to control Italy. You should remember that Italy has seen the very glorious time under Roman Empire, okay, in ancient times. Okay, so all these city states under uh, in Italy and other areas, for example, Spain, France, all these states are trying to have control over Italy. Okay, now in this very area, you will see that Machiavelli is very sad. Okay, because as an Italian, he knows the glorious days that Italy has seen under Roman Empire. But now his lament is that all that glory has gone. Okay, Italy is being actually exploited, looted by outsiders. So that is going to make him sad. That actually is going to motivate him to come out with to analyze all the factors which are there for its failure, for the failure of Italy. Okay, and how to bring about the strengthening of the states, how to bring about changes in the states which is going to make Italy powerful again or glorious again. So that is actually the intention of Machiavelli. So each of these powers attempted to pursue a strategy of playing the other for power and also engaged in practices like blackmailing and violence. So each of these powers means, which are the powers involved here? Florence, Milan, Venice, and Naples. These are the city states of Italy. Now, various other outside powers are also there. For example, France, Spain, and then again there is Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire Church. It is not actually the empire anymore. Okay, it is Holy Roman Church. Okay, so all these are actually having a conflict, or they are trying to have control over Italy. So they are playing various tricks, okay, conspiracies, so that they could come to acquire control over Italy. And this is very painful for Machiavelli. Okay, so these events are going to influence him. These events are going to influence Machiavelli's attitudes toward government and politics. And this is actually becomes uh, the motivating factor where he actually conducts a very deep study of history, so that he could come out with the solutions, okay, with solutions which are going to make Italy great again. So that is his ultimate objective. So in that very attempt, he is going to conduct the study of history, study of Roman Empire, the glorious Roman Empire. He is going to study Aristotle, Plato, and all important works of philosophy. Okay, he is also going to study history a lot. Okay, so that he could come out with the solutions. Okay, with those strategies which could be employed by the ruler to avoid this kind of crisis. Okay, to resolve this kind of crisis which is there in the Italy of his times. Now we are going to see the methodology that he's going to adopt. So the first methodology, which is very much evident in his writing is historical. I told you that Machiavelli is going to learn from history a lot. Okay, so he actually conducts a very deep study of history in order to come out with the solutions. Okay, or in order to come out the strategies which are going to solve the problems of Italy of his times. So according to him, enlightening of the present was possible with the help of the past. Okay, so this is very clear when he says that your present, you can have an enlightened view about the present when you have studied history. Okay, see, this is something which is which was said by Napoleon also. So according to Napoleon, history is the only real philosophy. Okay, so actually the most important thing, or the most important lessons that you can draw with your study of history is this: that what you have done, or what your generations, your past generations have missed, what mistakes they have committed, and how to rectify them, how to make sure that those mistakes are not repeated in future. And that actually is going to happen uh, when when a proper study of history is going to be conducted by Machiavelli. Okay, so he's going to study the history of Roman Empire. Okay, the glorious days that Roman Empire has seen. He's going to study the history of Greek civilization and historical thoughts, the history of political thoughts of Greeks. All that is going to be studied by Machiavelli in a very deep, in a very proper way. And that actually makes him capable of coming out with the advices which are going to be very useful for Prince for the preservation of Italy. Okay, now according to him, enlightening of the present was possible with the help of the past. It is so because human nature and therefore human problems were almost the same at all times and places. See his thoughts here. He is saying he is saying that because human nature is not going to change, he is answering the question that why the historical approach or study of history is going to be relevant even at the present time. Machiavelli provides the answer that human nature is not going to change. Okay, it is going to remain same, okay, for all time to come. So there is very less chances that the basic premises of human nature are going to change, are going to be different from ancient to medieval to modern. Now if human nature is going to be same, if human nature is same, then the problems which emerge out of human nature or because of human nature are also going to be same. So Machiavelli here is of the opinion that the problems that were being faced by ancient Greeks or Romans is not very much different that he is able to see in the Italy of his times. Okay, and that is why it becomes necessary to study the philosophers or the thinkers of that very time. Okay, because philosophers and thinkers of Greek and Roman era have actually attempted to solve the problems. Now, if that kind of study is conducted, it is possible that Machiavelli is also able to come out with the resolution of those very problems which are being faced by Italy. So, the crux of the argument here is this: that Machiavelli says that because human nature is going to be same, be it ancient time or the medieval time, that is why the problems which emerge because of the human nature are also going to be same. And that is why it is going to be prudent, or it is prudent to study the resolutions which have been offered by the thinkers of ancient times, because with some modifications those very solutions may be workable even at the present time. Okay, now one question is there that, sir, does Machiavelli belong to historical school of thought? Okay, I told you that methodology actually means the school of thought. So he also belongs to the historical school, or you can say that he also belongs, or he also adopts historical method. But historical method is not the only method that he is going to adopt. He is going to adopt empirical method also and realist method also. Okay, this is clear, I think. Now we can move forward. That like Aristotle, he adopted the historical method, but unlike him, he is more concerned with the actual working of the government rather than the philosophizing about the abstract principle of constitution. Okay, now understand the meaning here. that he adopt historical method, that is very evident from this very fact that he accords importance to the history. Okay, which kind of importance? Importance in a way that he says that history is going to be a good guide, or history can become a good guide, because the problems which ancients were facing, that is not very much different that we are facing at present time. So the, the problem that Italy was facing is not very much different from, say, for example, which was being faced by Athens of the during the time of Plato. But when he conducts the study of history, this is not same as was done by Aristotle. So although Aristotle is the father of political realism, but even in Aristotle also you see a lot of philosophizing. Okay, a lot of philosophy is there. Machiavelli is not actually concerned about philosophy. So he's in that sense he is more realist, going to be more realist than Aristotle also. Okay, realist in the sense this he is not actually interested in the philosophizing part of thinking. Okay, so what he actually thinks is very concrete, which can be employed practically. Okay, okay, in the very most immediate challenges that was being faced by Italy of that very time. So he's not going to come out with abstract principles of constitution, that what should be an ideal state, what should be the features of ideal state. That is something that he's not actually interested in. Why he's interested in history is because of this very fact that he believes that historical account can offer or the solutions for the present problem. That is why he adopts historical approach, and that is why he uses history. Okay, I think this is clear now. Now, Dunning in this instance is, according to Dunning, Machiavelli's work is the study of art of the government rather than the theory of state. Okay, so he is not coming out with any theory of state. That means that he's not theorizing on state. He's not theorizing what the abstract principle of state, or he's not theorizing about the idea of state. He is more concerned about the actual working of the state. And now you see that state is actually an idea which exists in abstract form. The most visible organ of his state is actually the government. Okay, so that is why he is interested in the very art of the government. That is his actually project. His real project is the art of the government, how that very art can be practiced in the most efficient manner. Then he adopts empirical approach also. Okay, so what is the empirical approach? I already explained what is empirical approach when I was discussing Aristotle. Okay, so he was empirical as he reached conclusions through his analysis based on the common sense and shrewd political insight. So he is going to conclude anything only on the basis of analysis. Okay, and in his analysis or in his thought process, he is going to employ a shrewd political insight. He is going to apply his shrewd political insight. So he is also called a very shrewd political thinker. Okay, and his shrewdness will be visible, okay, when he is going to come out with the advices on the prince. Okay, advices to the prince. Okay, two empirical tools which can be observed in his methodology are, first is the acute observation of the present. Okay, so he is going to study the Italy of his times very closely. And the second is overwhelming use of historical facts. So in his work Prince, this is a very small book. Okay, you can actually finish it reading just one day. So it can be done. It is possible. If you have free time, read this book, Prince. Okay, so in this very work, he actually provides a lot of historical accounts, historical facts. So he actually makes history the basis, the very foundation of his arguments, his analysis. And that is very much visible in his work, Prince also, where he provides advices to the prince or advices to the ruler. Okay, now see realist. Now the third methodology is that is after historical approach, and this empirical approach. He is going to adopt realist approach also. So Machiavelli is very realist. and that is evident from various factors. For example, he was realist and adopted form and method of political philosophy which ignores scholastic and juristic idols. So he's not, again, I'm just pointing out, he's not interested in the philosophizing or theorizing. What he's actually interested is coming out with the solutions to solve the problem. Okay, so he's not going to actually philosophize on political idols or juristic idols. Okay, what he's actually interested is coming out with the solutions which could be employed to deal with the problems of his time that Italy is facing. And first problem, the foremost problem, or the foremost challenge before him is the preservation of Italian state. Okay, these realistic conceptions are expressed in the expressions like might is right. Okay, might is right. Then ends justifies the means. Ends justifies the means, and necessities knows no law. Okay, so these are actually the famous statement of Machiavelli. Might is right means this is actually a only a realist can actually have this very opinion. Might is right. Okay, then justify ends justify the means. This is something which goes against Gandhian thought. Ends justify the means. All these thoughts are going to be actually present when we are going to study about the real advices of Prince. And necessity knows no law. Okay, so these are the methodologies which have been adopted by Machiavelli. Now, in this very lecture, we have covered about the space and time of Machiavelli, and then we studied about the factors which influenced the thinking of Machiavelli, and finally the methodologies which have been adopted by Machiavelli. Okay, so in the next part of Machiavelli, we are going to cover the exact advices that have been offered by Machiavelli. So I will be live after some time. Okay, so within 40 minutes I will be live again, and we will continue our discussion on Machiavelli. Thank you. If you like the video and if you learn this important things, you can go for subscription, and while you choose subscription you can apply this coupon code, that is Amit PS, in order to avail 10% discount. Okay, thank you.